Boxing truth here. Felt like talking some boxing. Get our minds off what's going on in the world. And I gotta talk about the Dillian Whyte situation and how misunderstood it can be, at least according to the WBC's version of this. Dillian Whyte has been waiting for a title shot for probably at least 2 years, maybe going on 3. He's been rated number 1 by WBC for a long time. But that doesn't explain the whole story. Granted, the WBC have, fucked around. They've been playing with Dillian Whyte. They've been playing him out, doing a lot of stalling tactics. They protected Wilder from Whyte from having to fight Dillian Whyte as the number 1 contender. They've done their part in prolonging this. However, the WBC didn't make Dillian Whyte the number 1 contender until just it hasn't even been a year. It was Dillian Whyte's, I think it was for the interim title. Let me just check real quick. Yes, it was for the interim title against Oscar Rivas. That was the fight that made Dillian Whyte officially the mandatory challenger. Because, look, WBC has these rules in place to protect them, so you can't even sue these motherfuckers no more. Especially what happened with that case that I forgot the guy's name. I think he was a champion that got stripped, or he was a top contender that wouldn't get his shot, and he sued the WBC for millions of dollars. He won and pretty much cleaned the WBC out. Anyways, the WBC has since smartened up. They put in these, updated rules in place to protect them in case this type of situation happens, because WBC is very political when it comes to their decision making. They will only enforce fights if it really is a fight that benefits them, or in some cases the sport of boxing, or benefits the promoter or advisor that they are in cahoots with. So they're willing to give out handouts, rank guys that they that shouldn't be ranked, or boost them up in the rankings. They're willing to disrespect top contenders and have other guys jump ahead of them, leapfrog them into mandatory status, which is the situation what happened with Dillian Whyte. He was the number 1 contender, but because of WBC's rules, just because you're the number 1 contender doesn't mean you are the mandatory. At the end of the day, the WBC board of directors, they make a vote, they make a decision on who's the number 1, not the number 1 contender, but who is the mandatory challenger, who gets the right to fight the champion. And you don't have to be the number 1 contender according to WBC's rules. Just because you're number 1 doesn't mean you're the mandatory. Just because you're the interim champion doesn't mean you're the mandatory. It has to be at the discretion of the WBC. It has to be on their terms. They have to announce by a vote who is their mandatory challenger. And Whyte officially hasn't even been a mandatory challenger for a year. He's been the number 1 contender for about 2, almost 3 years, I believe. But he's only been the official mandatory for not even a year. And that was because the WBC did protect Wilder. They, they did Al Heyman a favor. They enforced Dominic Breazeale. He fought Eric Molina for the mandatory position. And, they kept playing out Dillian Whyte, saying that, he wasn't worthy enough, that Dominic Breazeale had first dibs. It was all an in-house thing, Al Heyman wanted Dominic Breazeale to be the mandatory. They didn't want to face a fighter outside of the PBC bubble right before a big Fury fight. They wanted a guy who was going to cooperate, get in there, take a right hand, and then lay down for him. And the rest is history. Whyte was passed over by Dominic Breazeale. And he's going to get passed over again. Well, not really. I mean, officially, yeah. It's really what it is. Wilder has his rematch clause. Whether he's injured or not, I really don't see him backing out of that third fight. Just it doesn't do any good for him, his career, and his brand. It'd be the laughingstock of the heavyweight division. You know, I mean, people will understand if he did back out, but his fans will be devastated. There's no need to break their hearts even more by backing out of a contracted third fight. So I expect Wilder to go through with that fight. And then once Fury beats Wilder again for the third time, unofficially, WBC's they're gonna step aside Dillian Whyte once again. They're gonna say, for the good of the sport, and they have a point here. The fight that they want, that the world wants, is a undisputed showdown between Fury and Joshua if they get past their respective next fights, which is most likely what's going to happen. Dillian Whyte will get stepped aside simply because he's only been mandatory not even a year. Dillian Whyte can't do shit about it. He can't sue WBC because their rules protect them now. You can't do shit. He'll get his shot when WBC says he gets the shot. WBC calls the shots. They are the sheriff in the town. You're just a pawn on the chessboard. You'll get your shot when they say you get your shot. Dillian Whyte getting played out some more. He's about to get passed over once again. Most likely won't even get a WBC title shot ever, because if the situation plays out how I think it will, Fury and Joshua will have 2 fights next year, and that pretty much just takes out any chance that Whyte will get a title shot next year. He ain't gonna get a title shot this year, and it ain't gonna happen next year. Whyte's chances of getting a title shot for WBC are slim to none, and Slim's already left town, as Don King once said. Just let it go, Dylan. Just let it go, bro. The WBC, they don't respect you. They don't think you shit. They protected Wilder from you. They had Dominic Breazeale. You got passed over by Dominic Breazeale, which took care of that mandatory obligation for Wilder, so he can get into the rematch with Fury. According to WBC's rules, you have over a year to make another mandatory defense, but it's at the discretion of the WBC. All these rules protect them, bruh. So there ain't shit you can do. You just gotta take the disrespect and keep waiting for a title shot that's never going to come. Probably not until at least 2022 or the earliest. But there's a solution for you, Dylan. You want a title shot so bad, fight the winner of Usyk Chisora, which is going to be Usyk. Usyk will fight you. I mean, he likes fighting in the UK. He likes feasting on UK fighters, dispatching them on their home soil. It's not like Usyk will shy away from a fight with you. He'll give you your title shot. The WBO would approve, because according to their rules, you have to be considered an elite contender, and you are among WBC's top-rated guys, an interim champion. Even though you're not ranked by WBO, the WBO would gladly give you a position to challenge for a title for the winner of that fight between Usyk and Chisora. That's the only chance of you ever getting a title shot, because Fury has business to attend to. Joshua gets first dibs. You could have had your title shot last year, man, when you turned down the Anthony Joshua rematch. You just wanted to be, you had this big ego at the negotiating table. You felt like if you beat Joshua, you was the A side. That you should get 60-40. I can't knock you for thinking that way, but, business is business. Even though you knock out the star doesn't mean it makes you the star. That's how this boxing thing works. But that's your solution, Dillian Whyte. Fight Usyk and get beat up on your own home soil or outboxed, because you will never get a shot at the WC title. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.